There's been a huge amount of great effort from all of our staff in a whole variety of areas through the 2015-16 year and bringing us up to date. And there's been a whole series of local, regional and national awards that have recognised those efforts. Starting with our Proud Awards on the 13th of September that a number of you may have attended, that was run by Naga Manchetti from BBC Breakfast Television, and there we were really recognising the fabulous efforts of so many of our teams and so many of our staff. You will see out of the lecture theatre this evening on the walls there are some photographs that give all sorts of details of that fabulous evening, but I would note that our Employee of the Year award went to Margie Davies, the matron for dementia care, who was a real worthy winner, and congratulations to her. We also need to recognise that at the Health Service Journal Awards last year, during the 15-16 period, that Dr. Bev Oates, gastroenterologist, won the very prestigious Clinical Leader of the Year award nationally. And again, I think we need to recognise Bev's considerable efforts in that regard. Talking of highly regarded awards, the Nursing Times recognised the efforts of our infection prevention and control team, and we've won regional and national awards around patient safety, again about patient experience, around dermatology and around dementia. But all of this is only made possible by the tremendous efforts of all of our workforce. And certainly both myself and the whole board are very conscious that we rely completely on our 5,500 staff to make everything possible. We are, after all, Wirral's largest employer, and we take that responsibility very seriously, and therefore the effort that we've put into training and development, for example, that's seen us gain all sorts of recognition for the work we've done on apprenticeships, for example, is something that's very important to us. However, just one metric that really does demonstrate the value of our workforce is the effort that we've put into sickness absence and making sure that as many of our staff as possible are at work and attending. And we've now got our historically lowest level of sickness absence at 3.8%. And just to give a feel for that, that means we've put 14,000 staff days more into patient care than our previous level in terms of where we were with regards to sickness absence. So it's a tremendous effort making sure that we keep staff well and we provide high quality patient care. So that's really been a significant benefit to everyone concerned. The other emphasis that we've put on is around staff engagement, because we all know that this is a people business. And if our staff are feeling motivated, positive, well-trained and supported, the level of patient care will be so much better. And there is lots of indications that we're moving in the right direction in that regard. We've seen a significant improvement in our NHS staff survey results, and indeed in some of those elements we're in the top 20% nationally. So some really good performance there that's making sure that our staff feel that they're able to provide the very best possible care for our patients, and something that we continue to have the board's support to grow and develop as we move forward. Building on the strength of our workforce, we've put a tremendous effort into nursing workforce and minimising nursing vacancies. Gaynor Westray and our nursing team, supported by the HR team, have employed a three-prong approach, which is focusing on graduate recruitment and being a really compelling employer. Also international recruitment, where we've got a range of nurses from European countries that are making a significant contribution, and also return to work, where we're working with more experienced individuals and getting them back into the workforce. And that's absolutely the emphasis that we should be taking as a university teaching hospital, looking at how we absolutely maximise the number of staff that we have with the right skills to provide high quality patient care. In that regard, our vacancy rates are some of the lowest in the country. We're currently at 2.1% nurse vacancy rates, and I'm delighted to say that we've been chosen as one of the very few pilots nationally for the new nursing associate role, and there again we're keen to look at what we can do to train and support those key members of staff. In September 2015 we had our CQC inspection, And as expected, they fully endorsed our self-assessment that the trust required improvement. We identified 4 key areas: end-of-life care, A&E and patient flow, critical care and maternity, where improvements were required. And I'm pleased to report that we've made substantial improvement in those areas, and in ensuring that across the trust there's real ownership of this agenda, and that we now feel we're in a much stronger position, as evidenced by our own inspections and through national audit that demonstrates some tremendous results in a wide variety of areas, where we now feel we are ready for re-inspection and optimistic for an improved result. As mentioned, patient flow has been a real priority for us across the organisation, and particularly within the medical division. There we've seen tremendous improvements in our ambulatory care unit and as part of our acute medical unit. And indeed, in a recent national audit, our acute medical unit was the 3rd highest performing in the country. So congratulations to all those involved, and that's made an enormous difference to ensuring that we try and maintain great patient flow to try and contribute to our A&E performance and the experience that patients have in that critical area. I've previously mentioned the awards that we've won with regards to infection prevention and control, and that's making an enormous contribution to not only the patient experience but patient flow throughout the organisation. That has been certainly considerably assisted by the investment that we made on Ward 25, which is our dedicated infection ward, where we're particularly focusing on new and emerging infections such as CPE. This trust has had a well-deserved reputation at leading on IT-enabled healthcare, and I was delighted that recently that was recognised by the Secretary of State, where we were appointed one of only a few global centres of digital excellence, where we now have a remit to lead nationally in the adoption of IT to advance healthcare, but also to work with many other organisations to assist them in ensuring that they make that journey as well. I'm really delighted with the progress that we've made on so many fronts, whether that's on the quality front, whether that's patient experience, whether that's on developing our staff. But there is no getting away from the fact that the NHS and acute trusts in particular are under huge financial challenge. That's not only a financial challenge, but a challenge against a background of a growing demand coming from a growing elderly population with multiple comorbidities. Therefore, the NHS does have significant challenges that needs to be addressed. One of the ways that it's seeking to do that is through the STP process that some of you may have heard and has had some media attention. And there, I think it's important to recognise that that is an unconstrained planning process, looking at a wide range of options over the medium to longer term to determine how we ensure that the NHS is clinically and financially sustainable. We are playing our full part, as you would expect us to, and we are in making sure that we are involved in both the STP and more locally on a Wirral and Cheshire footprint. What I would say is, although we are playing our full part in all of those processes, we are focusing on ensuring that we put the emphasis on our own strategy. And I would direct you to our own document here, our 5-year strategy that emphasises the work that we're doing with our staff around where our priorities need to be. And that is very much about ensuring that we provide great care, a good value for money, and that wherever possible we recognise that the hospital doesn't exist in isolation but needs to be part of a vibrant, high quality, integrated health and social care system, hence the work that we're seeking to do with our various partners. So what I would say is, essentially, some of the noise around the STP needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, but it is important that the NHS considers all options. But what we would want to make sure of is that we do the very best for patients on the Wirral, and that we have our own strategy to ensure that Wirral University Teaching Hospitals is a very strong part of that moving forward. So in conclusion, there is no doubt that whilst the NHS and acute trusts in particular have significant financial pressures, that we've made huge progress over the last year. lots to be proud of in terms of our workforce and the impact that they've had on patient outcomes and patient experience. Therefore, we can look forward to the next year with a growing confidence, with a new and refreshed team and a growing influence on a wider footprint, and recognising that not only are we trying to ensure that our own house is in the best possible order, but that we work with other stakeholders to make sure that in an integrated way across the health and social care spectrum, we work together to provide the very best patient care for the people of Wirral.